Well, hello and welcome to another Happy Paws Sunday afternoon chat. Before I introduce our guests, lots of guests today, I'd just like to remind everybody if you could possibly like, share, and subscribe to our channel. It would really help us grow our channel and reach more people. I also want to remind you that the reason why we started our Sunday afternoon chat is because of our 10th anniversary legacy appeal. And the link to the Just Giving page will be in the description box below. And we would be so appreciative if you would like to give us a small or large donation, anything that you feel like you would, to our legacy appeal so we can continue to rescue more dogs like the gorgeousness that you see in front of you now. So without any further delay, may I introduce Steve and Kirsty
Hello.
and their pack, clan, gang. How
Huh?
do you
Yeah.
pack? You refer to it as a pack. Fantastic. We're gonna meet all the dogs in a moment, but I just wanted to ask you first of all, how long have you been Happy Paws parents?
Since 2017, when we first adopted Emily.
Oh wow! So that's what, 7 years ago now.
Uh-huh.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And who do we have here?
Uh-huh.
Gorgeousness behind you.
So if we work from Steve's side to mine, we've got Kiki, who was rescued from Huddersfield, not from Happy Paws. Next to her, we've got Dusty. Then we've got Milo in the middle, and we've got Izzy Wiz. And then we've got Pip just on the end here. Yes, darling. Yes.
So, four dogs from Happy Paws at the moment, and you had Emily before, and Emily was a golden retriever, wasn't she?
Yes, she was the balcony dog for those people who followed Happy Paws for a while.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Now I can see you've got two golden retrievers there, Dusty and Milo. But
Yes.
what are Izzy and Pip?
We're not sure about Izzy. She's definitely a sight hound, possibly a little bit of collie, but we haven't had her tested. And Pip is a cockapoo. Her
Oh,
poodle is
fantastic!
dominant, unfortunately, so she's quite perky.
Is she? Is she? Can you tell me the order that you got them?
Yes, so Kiki arrived first in 2017. She was just before Emily. And then Pip arrived the year after. Then we've got 2 years. Dusty arrived just after lockdown. I think we had 2 weeks' notice that he was arriving. Yes, darling. Then Izzy came in 21, and Milo just arrived last November.
So, is it an addiction?
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Can't
looks
turn
like.
down a sub story.
I know. I can't believe how comfortable they all are together.
they're, they're good boys and girls. I mean, I take a lot of advice from the fabulous team at Bushel, the gun dogs, John and his team. And before I do anything, I check it with him. But this we have our own way of settling them in, and we follow John's advice on that. But yes, they're good boys and girls.
Well, today I wanted to talk about, rescuing multiple dogs. Clearly, you've done,
Yeah.
and I also want to talk to you a little bit later on about the training that you do. And I know you are very big on training, and I think this is the biggest example how comfortable and calm they all are with each other
Yeah.
when they didn't grow up together. That's just
Yeah.
remarkable.
Yeah, because I think the main thing about training, and John's taught me, is if you're careful to watch what a dog tells you they want to do and you work on that, you're giving them what they want. And if they get what they want, they're very calm.
As we can see.
Spotted a fly.
That's okay. As long as she doesn't jump for it. Can I ask you why you decided to rescue in the first place? If Kiki was your first, what was it that inspired you to adopt a rescue dog?
I think it's just simply that there are so many dogs that need a home, and we're not the type of people that would go and buy a pedigree. We would just rather offer a dog that needs it a decent home.
And why an international rescue? Why Happy Paws?
Well, Happy Paws was a sister of a friend of a colleague at work in Yorkshire, and she'd already got golden retrievers, and she followed Happy Paws on Facebook, and she just sent me a link, and I had a fabulous conversation with Lisa, and that's when we got Emily.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I think that everybody I've spoken to has said we had a lovely conversation with Lisa. It always starts off like that. So tell me, with 5 dogs,
Yeah.
what's the morning like at your place?
Organised chaos. So we're fairly early risers, so we're usually up at about 6, although a couple of the dogs are always awake before that. Dusty, and actually, believe it or not, the one that's asleep in the middle, Milo, is also an early riser. The whole morning is built around tea, cups of tea. So out for wheeze first of all, kettles on. I have to make sure that Kirsty's got plenty of tea in the morning, but the dogs also have cups of tea in the morning as well.
Oh, that's lovely.
So they adore that. And then the usual things, some medication that they're on, getting them fed. But they get very excited when they first wake up. But as soon as they've been out for a wee, as soon as they have a cup of tea, they're a bit like this again. They'll just sit down and wait for their food. They don't do too much begging for it. But it takes a good hour from getting up to being in that point, I would think.
And when do you have your cup of tea?
I don't drink tea. I'm just busy making everyone else's tea because that's my job. Tea
Sounds
boy.
perfect to me. Absolutely perfect. But do you get some time just in the morning to yourself, or it's all about the dogs and Kirsty?
It's all about the dogs. Our life revolves around the dogs.
It must be.
We wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
It must be. I can totally understand that. Layla is not in her bed, if anybody has spotted that. She's actually under my desk because it's very warm here in London. And I have a chair that's got like an aluminium bottom, and she sleeps on it, and it's cool for her. She really, really likes it. But she is still in the room, just if anyone's wondering where Layla is. On to our main topic. I wanted to talk to you about training because I know it's really important to you guys. And as viewers regular viewers may know that when we rescue a dog, for the most part, they may not have had any training whatsoever. They've never maybe been on a lead, they've never lived in a home. We really don't know, but quite often there's no training. And we have now started our training program, which we're very, very proud of at the centre. And it's important to us that at least when our dogs arrive with families, that they can sit, stay, and I've actually in my notes I've actually put and recall because that's always a challenge. I think the biggest challenge, particularly for a rescue dog. And we also make sure that they stay. Our foster care program helps them stay in a family home so that they've at least got manners and understand what it's like. But we know that once they arrive in the UK and we hand them over to our families, there's a lot more training that needs to be done. And it's the beginning of their training, beginnings of their new life. So I believe you've taken your training with your rescue kids a lot further. So what sort of training have you done?
Okay, so just to be clear at the beginning, Steve and I don't shoot. We don't go out with guns, but we do follow gun dog training principles. And that's based around building a bond between us and the dogs. And that takes time. So it's things like making sure we get good eye contact, smiling at them, because a lot of these dogs have been through horrific circumstances. So smiling at them is really important when they give you eye contact, real basic things. But all of our dogs are very different. And so we need to make sure that we watch them and really listen to what they're telling us is their thing. And then we get all the help that we need from John at Bushel Beard, who does virtual lessons for us each week.
Virtual lessons?
Yes, so he's based down in Essex, you see, and we're in southwest Scotland.
Oh, wow.
So we just have earbuds and Steve walks behind us with the phone, and then John watches our dog, whichever dog we're training, and feeds back to me as to what I should be doing. So it's really more about training the human than it is about the dog, isn't it? Yes. So things like when we turn, they should follow us. They learn to get everything they need from us. So not just the basics like food and water and shelter. They should get training in stimulation. If she's a sight hound, we should be laying scent for Dusty, but we should give Izzy things to chase so that they can do the things that bring them joy. Because that's what we're here for, right? Is to give them a good life. And if you do that, you give them what they show you they need, they end up like this. They're happy. And they're good at what they do. You know, I can work with Dusty in the hedgerow for an hour and he will flush the fezzes, will bring them back to me. He's just amazing. And you think, I didn't get eye contact for 3 months when he arrived.
Oh, wow.
So he's come such a long way. And the thing with Izzy is, she was a street dog, born from a street dog, so she has a different set of rules to the rest of them. So that's where John's really helped me with understanding what Izzy's needs are. Because she's very different. She's very confident.
Izzy.
Yeah. She's not afraid of anything.
Izzy's a very special case for Happy Paws.
Yes.
We all know that. She was a tiny puppy when she was rescued.
Yes.
So she's one of the very few street dogs that we've ever brought over. And I think it's because, Steve, you fell in love with her, didn't you?
Probably. I think we saw a video of the lady that found her when she was injured. And you just couldn't help but go, that dog needs a proper home. It was almost instant. I think we weren't really lucky to get another one, but here she is.
If anyone's interested in Izzy's story, I created a video for Izzy, didn't I, a couple of years ago? And it tells her story of where she was found and her life now and what a lovely, happy little girl she is. So if we go back to training for a second, how do you think the dogs have responded to this training?
It's just the best thing for them. I mean, gun dog training is the most difficult of the disciplines for us as humans to understand, because it's trying to think like a dog so that you can give them the instruction. Yes, they're a good girl. But it's the most rewarding. You know, they're all whistle trained, so being able to get your dog back on a whistle, there's just nothing like it to see them bolting back to you like, mum, 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 mum.
That's amazing.
But it takes time, and you can't start it straight away. I think there's a fair gap from when they first arrive. There's several phases that you need to go through before you get to proper training.
So John would say it's 6 days for them to decompress when they arrive, 6 weeks to just get them used to the surroundings of your house and your garden, and then 6 months before you start the training, because you're watching their behaviour for 6 months.
Oh, that's really interesting.
And what it is that they love.
Yeah, that's really, and then if it's 6 months before you start the training, is there a time where you think, it may be different for each dog, but is there a moment or a time moment where you think they're getting it now?
I think it is different for each dog. I mean, Dusty's been with us 4 years and he's still on a 20-metre line, albeit the handles dropped, just for his own safety, because he was a hunter. He hunted to survive, and I think a year into having Dusty, I just wasn't making the progress I'd expected. But then I had, let's say, 6-week lessons with John sorted. Absolutely everything sorted with him. And he is a much happier dog now because I can give him more freedom, because I'm more relaxed, because John's got me to that point.
Yeah. Whereas with Izzy, I mean, we've only moved to this house about 6 months ago. And it's probably only in the last 3 or 4 weeks that she's settled into this new house, despite being with us for quite a long time. They don't do change very well. They love routine, and it's just taken her a long time, but she's now there. She's now herself is coming back out.
Yes, yeah.
He certainly looks like a little queen bee to me.
She's a little princess, honestly.
A real mummy's girl.
Yes, well, it's funny actually, because I think she's probably more for Steve, because I'm the disciplinarian. that right? Yeah.
Not today.
But Kiki's all for Steve. You know, she smiles at him when he comes down in the morning, whereas Dusty's my baby boy, you know.
Yeah, and I can't go anywhere in this house without being trailed by Milo.
No.
He follows me around like a lapdog.
He does, bless him. He loves his
He
daddy.
does when he's
Yeah.
awake.
I don't go anywhere without Layla. In fact, Dan, my husband, says that she announces me. She comes down the stairs and then I follow. So it's like, Mummy's coming. So it's just so gorgeous. I just love it. Absolutely love it. So with all this training, do you have a star student amongst them?
Well, I mean, our absolute all-round star is Kiki. She'd work all day. You know, she can herd sheep. She hunts left. She hunts right. She's amazing. And they're up to be fair to them. They're all trained around cattle and sheep because of where we live. We've had to make sure that they're safe. But yeah, she'd work all day and you could take her anywhere. The others, I know, bless them, the beautiful Paul and Gareth were talking about taking their two out to restaurants and cafes and pubs, which is beautiful. But the challenges that we've got behaviourally, particularly with Izzy, we wouldn't do that because she'd be so interested in her environment. So we tend not to go anywhere where there are other people.
Well, that's
us really. We're just a pack of 7.
But
yeah.
I would say that Dusty's probably made the most improvement from when he first got here to how he is now via training. And it's all Kirsty. I tag along and try my best, but I'm nowhere near consistent enough to make it work, whereas Kirsty absolutely is. But Dusty is he's a different dog.
Yes, he is, in a good way.
Completely different dog.
Well, if I remember, Dusty was found on a rubbish tip.
He was, bless him.
Yeah.
And we had to work hard. So I think his biggest challenge for me has been resource guarding. So he showed some aggression towards the boot of the van, anything that he hunted. So John's been so helpful for me because we want to still build that bond with Dusty, but he has to understand that if he fetches me a bird, that's my bird and he gives it to me. So
these again, you know, he wouldn't interact for months. Literally, would sit in the corner and look away. And now he's by your side all the time, isn't he?
Yes, so he's the alarm clock on the morning. Yeah. Somewhere between 5:30 and 6, he will roll over and sneeze in my face. There's nothing like it. There's just nothing like it.
Yeah, just tell me, where do they sleep? Where do 5 dogs sleep at night?
Yeah, between us.
On the bed.
We just have to keep buying bigger things like bigger beds, bigger cars.
We've got a bed the size like you have never seen before, because it has to have 7 people in it.
Oh my goodness! Oh my god, that's amazing! That's amazing.
Don't get me wrong, everything is boil washed every week, but yeah, they all sleep with us. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's amazing.
He's probably rolling his eyes now, like, have I taught you nothing?
Yeah, I know. Well, I've had to not learn how to sleep with a dog, but because we've always had golden retrievers, our golden retrievers have preferred to be in their beds next to our beds. Not Miss Layla. No way. She has to be. She spoons me at night, you know, and I have to say I love it. Really love it.
Nice, isn't it? The other way now.
Milo probably spends more time on the floor. He tends to jump off and go onto the beds, but the rest of them don't.
Yeah. But he's the biggest snorer. Milo snores more loudly than Steve.
Yeah, which is saying something.
So that's just as well.
Sorry?
That's just as well that he pops off the bed every now and then.
Yes.
Milo makes a little noise as well. He makes a noise like a little truffle pig. So this morning, after I'd put the loaf in the mixer, I'd put one of the containers for dried skimmed milk in the bin, and it's like a cylindrical tube. 5 minutes later, Milo's head's in the recycling bin, and it's in the skimmed milk container. He's walking into the lounge like Darth Vader. It's just so funny.
That's so lovely.
I think we're the only people who've got a dog that purrs. Yeah. Because Milo purrs.
Oh, that's lovely.
He was happy. He got this little rumble at the bottom base of his throat all the time.
I mean, I do worry that it's maybe something to do with the accident, because of course he was run over by a car. So bless him, his mouth's dropped on one side, he's blind in his right eye, his shoulder was broken and his hip ball was removed, so he limps a bit. But apart from that, he's perfect. But he's just this little noise all the time. When he's happy, it's like a purr.
Oh my goodness. So we've now talked about how Dusty was found. We've talked Milo. We've talked about Izzy. Now there is another little one just behind you, Pip. Pip has a little problem, but it's never held her back, has it?
Not at all. No, bless her. She was found at 6 weeks. I think somebody threw her over the fence at Happy Paws at the rescue centre. And unfortunately, she had to have one eye removed. But it doesn't hold her back. And her foster mum was amazing. She gave her so much comfort and confidence, didn't she? We're really lucky, really grateful. But yeah, she's absolutely fine. Hi, gorgeous. Oh, mummy, she says I was asleep.
I would say that the fostering program that is at Happy Paws is just an incredible thing in terms of lining them up and getting them used to living in a house in the way that they will do in the UK.
Hi.
It really does set them up well.
I totally agree with that. I think it's so important. They spend time at the centre. They have the basic training. They have all the healthcare, everything that they need. But before they come to the UK, they spend time, real time, in a foster home with a family who make sure that they know how dogs live in the UK. They're part of the family. They're not. We're so silly that we make sure that they do everything, sleeping on our beds, tea in the morning, all of that sort of stuff, and they need to get used to it. They will not be 100% perfect when they arrive because it takes time, but they are well on their way to becoming great family dogs, aren't they?
They are, and I think it's helpful because you interact with the foster family, and some of them, like, you get more interaction with others, but you kind of get a bit of a sense of what the dog's like before that day when they arrive, and you go and collect them in Eastbourne and get all really excited. You've got a sense of the character of the dog.
Yeah, I think that's so important. So what piece of advice would you give a family who's thinking about rescue in particular, or rescuing from Happy Paws?
I think the one piece of advice is to trust Lisa. Speak to her, be honest with her about your life, what your requirements are, and she will find the dog for you. I mean, every time we've gone to her and said we're ready for another, we let her choose. Nobody wanted Izzy because of the bone damage. Nobody wanted Pip because she got one eye. Dusty came to us with 2 weeks' notice when lockdown was released because somebody else had let him down. We just let Lisa choose. She knows as well, and she knows the current dogs that we've got, so she knows that we will deal with things, I think, and help. So yeah, just trust Lisa.
Yeah, and if you haven't had a dog before, absolutely have a really detailed conversation with Lisa. Don't get a dog from anywhere else. Go to Lisa, because I don't know how she does it. She must have a little magic wand somewhere. She just understands what dog matches to what sort of person in their lifestyle.
I totally agree. And I think it's lovely to hear that that's the advice that you would like to share, because it's something that we've said before, that some rescues you can just go on a website and choose the dog, and that's not what we do at Happy Paws. We match the dog with the family, and in fact, Lisa is our guest next week, and we're talking about the adoption process. So that's a perfect segue into that. That's wonderful, and you didn't know that, did you?
No, not at all.
That's perfect. Oh, guys, I am so grateful for you coming on the Sunday afternoon chat with your pack, your beautiful, well-behaved, well-trained pack. I mean, they're just adorable. And I can't thank you enough for doing it and giving up your time.
For inviting us. We're always happy to show them off.
But
Oh,
wonderful, thank you.
it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. So if you would like to help more dogs like this pet find amazing homes, please consider donating to our 10th anniversary legacy appeal. As I said, the link will be in the description box below. And please like, share, and subscribe to our channel so we can grow and let more people get more people to understand what we do and how we do it. We will see you next Sunday with Lisa back to talk about the adoption process. Bye bye, guys.
Thanks, Dominique. Bye.
Thanks
Bye.
for watching, everyone. Bye bye.